Kang Minho stared at the blue planet spinning slowly below his observation station. 300 years of watching these humans, and today would be his last report. The Galactic Council had finally decided what to do with Earth. He stretched his forearms and began typing his final notes. The humans were still fighting small wars over resources, still burning fossil fuels, still arguing about their planet getting warmer. They had no idea that powerful beings watched them from space, deciding if they should live or die. Minho had spent his whole career studying dangerous species. Humans were labeled Category 7, which meant they were too violent to join the galaxy's peaceful races, but they were also too weak to be a real threat. The Council would eliminate them soon, just like they had done to 43 other aggressive species. The door to his office slid open. Lee Sodom walked in, her green skin darker than usual. As station commander, she never looked worried. Today was different. "Minho, we have a problem," she said, holding a data pad. The deep space arrays picked up something strange. Minho looked up from his report. "What kind of strange?" "Human ships. Moving faster than they should be able to move. Much faster." Minho laughed. "That's impossible. Our observations show they barely made it to their moon. Their rockets are primitive. They can't even reach their neighboring planets properly." Sodom activated the holographic display in the center of the room. Red dots appeared scattered across a three-dimensional map of local space. Each dot represented a human vessel moving, at speeds that should have been impossible for their technology level. These readings came from our monitoring stations in the Kepler system. That's 40 light-years from Earth. According to our timeline, humans shouldn't reach that far for another 50 years. Minho stood up, his report forgotten. He had been watching Earth for 30 years. He knew every human space program, every rocket launch, every failed experiment. There was no way they had developed faster than light travel. "The sensors must be broken," he said. "Or maybe those aren't human ships." "That's what I thought too." Sodom touched the display, and the image zoomed in on one of the red dots. "But look at this." The hologram showed a detailed scan of a spacecraft. The design was clearly human, but the technology readings made no sense. The ship's power source was generating more energy than entire human cities. Its hull was made from materials that didn't exist in any of the Council's databases. "This is impossible," Minho whispered. Sodom nodded grimly. "There's more. We detected similar ships near the Vega colonies, the Centauri research stations, and the Tau Ceti mining operations, all places where humans shouldn't be able to reach." Minho felt his stomach drop. If humans had secretly developed advanced space travel, everything the Council believed about them was wrong. More importantly, if they had been hiding their real abilities, it meant they knew they were being watched. "How long have they been out there?" he asked. "Unknown. The ships appeared on our sensors 3 days ago, but they could have been there much longer. Our monitoring focused on Earth and the immediate solar system. We assumed they couldn't go farther." Minho walked to the observation window and looked down at Earth again. The planet looked the same as always. Cities glowed on the night side. Satellites moved in predictable orbits. Everything appeared normal. "Maybe it's a new species using human-like designs," he suggested. Sodom shook her head. "I sent probe ships to investigate. The vessels have human life signs, human genetic markers, human communication frequencies. These are definitely human ships." The implications hit Minho like a physical blow. If humans had been deceiving the Council for years, what else had they been hiding? Were they really as violent as the Council believed? Had they been preparing for war while pretending to be primitive? "We need to contact the Council immediately," he said. "I already tried." Sodom's voice was quiet. "All communication with Earth went dead 6 hours ago. Every monitoring station in the Sol system has gone silent." Minho felt ice form in his veins. The Council maintained dozens of hidden observation posts throughout Earth's solar system. Each one was equipped with quantum communicators that could reach across the galaxy instantly. If they had all gone silent at the same time, it wasn't an accident. "They found our stations," he said. "All of them. Every single monitoring post, listening device, and hidden probe we had in human space. Gone." Minho tried to process what this meant. For 3 centuries, the Council had watched human development through carefully hidden sensors. They had influenced human wars to keep them busy. They had prevented humans from developing certain technologies by causing accidents in key research facilities. They had controlled human progress like gardeners pruning a dangerous plant. Now the humans had found every single Council asset and destroyed them all at the same time. That level of coordination and knowledge should have been impossible for a Category 7 species. How long before the Council decides to activate the elimination protocol? Minho asked. Sodom checked her datapad. The emergency session starts in 2 hours. With evidence of rapid technological advancement and possible awareness of Council presence, they'll probably vote for immediate elimination. The elimination protocol was simple and effective. A single quantum torpedo could destroy an entire star system. The Council had used it 43 times before when dangerous species grew too advanced too quickly. It was considered a mercy compared to allowing them to develop weapons that could threaten peaceful galactic civilization. Maybe that's for the best, Minho said, though he didn't believe it. He had studied human culture for decades. Yes, they were violent and unpredictable, but they also showed remarkable creativity and determination. Some of their art and literature had moved him in ways he couldn't explain. Sodom was quiet for a long moment, staring at the display showing the scattered, human ships. Minho, there's something else. Something I haven't told the Council yet. What? The human ships aren't running away randomly. They're moving in a coordinated pattern, like they're following a plan they made a long time ago. She touched the display again and new data appeared. Lines connected the red dots showing predicted flight paths and destinations. The pattern was complex but clearly organized. This isn't panic evacuation, she continued. This is organized relocation. They've been planning this for years, maybe decades. Minho looked at the pattern and felt a chill of recognition. It reminded him of migration patterns he had studied, in other species, but more sophisticated. The humans weren't just fleeing. They were moving to specific locations for specific reasons. Where are they going? That's what worries me. The flight paths lead to areas of space we've never explored, regions beyond our sensor range. If they've been preparing colonies out there, she didn't need to finish the thought. If humans had been secretly building colonies in unexplored space, they could have populations and technologies the Council knew nothing about. The species they thought they understood completely had become a mystery. Minho sat down heavily in his chair. His final report lay unfinished on his desk, full of observations about primitive humans struggling with basic space travel. Now it seemed like every word was based on lies the humans had carefully fed to the Council. They played us, he said quietly. For centuries, they made us see exactly what they wanted us to see. Sodom nodded. The question is, what are they really capable of? And what are they planning to do next? Before Minho could answer, emergency alarms began blaring throughout the station. Red lights flashed, and the automated voice announced a code black situation, the highest level of galactic emergency. All stations report to emergency positions. Council elimination protocol has been authorized. Target, Sol system. Countdown begins in 60 minutes. Minho and Sodom looked at each other with growing dread. The Council had made their decision. In 1 hour, they would fire a weapon that could destroy Earth's entire solar system. But as they rushed to their emergency posts, both of them wondered the same thing. What if they were already too late? What if the humans had seen this coming and prepared for it too? Outside the observation window, Earth continued spinning peacefully, unaware that its executioners were preparing to strike. The quantum torpedo hit Earth exactly on schedule. Park Ji-won watched from her investigation ship as the planet's surface flashed with impossible light. When the brightness faded, Earth was gone. In its place floated chunks of rock and metal, slowly spreading out into space. But the destruction felt hollow. They had eliminated an empty world. All human life signs confirmed eliminated, reported Choi Doyun, though his voice lacked any satisfaction. Mission accomplished. Jiwan stared at the debris field that had once been humanity's home. Somewhere, in that expanding cloud of destruction, were museums full of human art, libraries full of their stories, and cities where billions of people had lived and loved and dreamed. All gone now, but the people who had created it all were still alive, scattered across the galaxy. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission," called the communications officer. "From where?" "Everywhere." The main display activated, showing a human face. The man appeared middle-aged with calm eyes and a slight smile. He wore simple clothes and stood in what looked like a garden with alien plants growing in the background. "Greetings, Galactic Council," the human said. "My name is Bei Minseo. I am speaking to you from the last human evacuation ship. By the time you receive this message, Earth will be gone and we will be beyond your reach." Jiwan ordered her ship to trace the signal source, but the computers couldn't get a fix. The transmission was coming from quantum frequencies that shifted constantly, making tracking impossible. "I want to thank you for teaching us such valuable lessons," Minseo continued. "For 300 years you watched us and judged us. You decided we were too dangerous to live, but in watching us so carefully, you taught us everything we needed to know about you." The human's smile never changed, but his words made Jiwan feel cold. "We learned about your 43 previous eliminations. We studied the species you destroyed, and discovered they all made the same mistake. They developed advanced technology openly, where you could see it. They trusted that superior beings would recognize their potential and welcome them into galactic society." Doyen was working frantically at his station, trying to locate the source of the transmission. "The signal is bouncing through quantum relays across multiple star systems. It's like they built a communication network specifically to deliver this message." "We decided to take a different approach," Minseo continued. "Instead of developing openly and hoping for acceptance, we developed in secret and prepared for rejection. While you thought you were observing our primitive civilization, we were actually observing your advanced one." The image changed to show a massive space station hidden in an asteroid field. Thousands of humans worked inside, but the station's exterior was perfectly camouflaged to look like ordinary space rocks. "This is Research Station Alpha, established 47 years ago in what you call the Kepler system. It was the first of many facilities we built while you were watching Earth and seeing exactly what we wanted you to see." More images appeared. Hidden colonies in empty space, disguised as natural phenomena. Manufacturing centers built inside hollow asteroids. Entire cities constructed in the shadows of gas giant moons, invisible to Council sensors. "We built a second civilization while maintaining the illusion of the first one," Minseo explained. "Every technological limitation you observed on Earth was carefully staged. Every failed space mission was theater. Every resource shortage was planned deception." Jiwan was beginning to understand the scope of the human operation. They hadn't just hidden their technology. They had created an entirely fake version of their civilization for the Council to observe and judge. The humans you watched fighting wars on Earth were volunteers maintaining the illusion. The real, human population has been living in hidden colonies for generations, developing technology and preparing for the day you would try to eliminate us. The transmission showed more evidence. Council monitoring stations that humans had discovered and secretly modified to send false data. Human agents who had infiltrated Council observation posts and influenced their reports. An entire intelligence network that had been feeding the Council lies for decades. "We knew you would eventually decide we were too dangerous," Minseo said. "Every species reaches that point in your evaluation process. So we prepared for evacuation while making sure you would wait until we were ready." Doyen looked up from his instruments with a shocked expression. "Commander, I'm detecting similar transmissions being broadcast to every Council member world. Simultaneously, they're sending this message to the entire galaxy." Jiwan felt her heart sink. The humans weren't just explaining their escape to the investigation team. They were revealing the truth about the Galactic Council to every species in known space. "We want the galaxy to know what really happened here," Minseo continued, as if he had heard Doyun's report. "For too long, the Council has maintained peace, through fear and elimination. They tell member species that they protect them from dangerous threats, but the truth is, They eliminate any species that becomes advanced enough to challenge their authority. The transmission began showing archived council communications that should have been impossible for humans to access. Private discussions between council members about which species to eliminate next. Debates about whether certain technologies should be allowed to develop. Casual conversations about the necessity of preventing other species from becoming too independent. The 43 species you eliminated weren't threats to galactic peace, Minseo said. They were threats to council control. Every one of them had developed technology that could have made them equals to council member species. So you destroyed them to maintain your position as the galaxy's rulers. Jiwan wanted to deny it, but the evidence was overwhelming. The humans had recorded everything. Every council meeting, every elimination decision, every justification for destroying entire civilizations. Decades of carefully hidden truth was being broadcast to the entire galaxy. We're not telling you this to hurt you, Minseo continued. We're telling you because the galaxy deserves to know the truth. The species you've been protecting deserve to understand what they're really being protected from. The image changed again, showing something that made Jiwan gasp. It was a star map, but not like any she had seen before. It showed the locations of dozens of worlds the council had eliminated, but these worlds weren't empty. They were inhabited. The Zalari weren't extinct, Minseo explained. Neither were the Threks, the Novolans, or any of the others. Your quantum torpedoes destroyed their homeworlds, but we found their colonies. We found their survivors. For the past 60 years, we've been helping them rebuild. The map showed a vast network of hidden civilizations, all living in regions of space the Council had never explored. Dozens of supposedly extinct species were not only alive but thriving under human protection. While you were deciding whether to eliminate us, we were busy not eliminating others, Minseo said. We learned from your example what not to do. Doyen was checking the star map against Council records. These coordinates are all in unexplored regions. We never thought to look there because those areas don't have suitable planets for known species requirements. Unless you can modify planets to make them suitable, Jiwan realized, or build artificial habitats in space. The transmission continued. We've spent the past century perfecting technologies you never imagined. Not weapons of destruction, but tools of creation. We can build worlds, modify environments, and support life in places you thought were impossible. More images appeared, showing impossible achievements. Artificial planets with perfectly controlled climates, space habitats the size of moons, supporting millions of inhabitants, terraforming projects that had turned dead rocks into garden worlds. This is our gift to the galaxy, Minseo said. Not conquest, not elimination, but expansion. We're offering every species something the Council never could, unlimited room to grow. The transmission was ending. Minseo's face returned to the screen, still wearing that same calm smile. By the time you receive this message, the last human will have left Council space forever. You will never find us because we're going to places you've never thought to look, but we'll be watching you, the same way you watched us. The image paused, and Minseo's expression became serious for the first time. The galaxy is bigger than you know, Council, and it's about to become much more crowded. The species you tried to eliminate are coming home. All of them, and they've learned from their mistakes. The transmission ended, leaving Jiwan and Doyen staring at a blank screen. What do we report to the Council? Doyen asked. Jiwan looked out at the debris field. That had been Earth. The humans were gone, but their message was spreading across the galaxy. Council authority was about to face challenges it had never imagined. We report the truth, she said. All of it. She knew the Council wouldn't like her report. They had believed they were eliminating a primitive threat. Instead, they had eliminated their own legitimacy. The humans had outplayed them completely, and now the entire galaxy would know it. The species the Council thought they ruled were about to learn they had other options. Lim Taiyang had commanded elimination fleets 43 times before. He knew what to expect when arriving at a destroyed homeworld. Empty space, scattered debris, and the quiet satisfaction of another threat removed from the galaxy. Earth's destruction should have been exactly the same. But when his massive war fleet arrived at the former human solar system, Taeyang found something that changed everything he thought he knew about the Council's work. The debris field where Earth had been was arranged in perfect patterns. The pieces of the destroyed planet hadn't scattered randomly as they should have. Instead, they formed geometric shapes that could only be seen from space. Symbols and messages written in the language of destruction itself. "Sir, you need to see this," called Kim Nari, his chief science officer. She was studying readings from the debris field with a confused expression. "What is it?" "The planetary fragments aren't natural debris. They've been modified, carved, shaped into specific forms before the planet was destroyed." Taeyang joined her at the scanning station. The display showed detailed analysis of the debris. What had looked like random chunks of rock and metal were actually carefully crafted sculptures and structures, designed to survive planetary destruction and remain visible in space. "The humans knew their planet would be destroyed," Nari continued, "so they turned the destruction into a message." "What kind of message?" Nari adjusted the display to show the debris field from different angles. Slowly, the scattered pieces resolved into recognizable shapes. Names written in letters the size of continents. Faces carved into asteroid-sized fragments. Symbols that clearly represented different alien species. "These are memorials," Taeyang realized. Memorials to the 43 species the Council eliminated. Each section of the debris field honored a different extinct civilization. The Zalari were remembered with crystalline structures that caught and reflected starlight in their traditional patterns. The Threks were honored with metal sculptures that moved with the gravitational currents, creating music in the vacuum of space. Every eliminated species had been given a monument made from the remains of Earth itself. "How did they know about the extinct species?" asked Shin Yunji, the fleet's archaeologist. "Those records are classified at the highest levels." Taeyang was wondering the same thing. The details in these monuments were incredibly accurate. Not just the names and basic facts about the eliminated species, but cultural details that should have been lost forever when their worlds were destroyed. "Take us closer," he ordered. "I want to examine these structures directly." As the fleet moved deeper into the debris field, more impossible discoveries emerged. Hidden among the memorial sculptures were data storage devices, built to survive, planetary destruction, and protected by energy fields that shouldn't have been possible with any known technology. The first device they recovered contained complete historical records of the Zalari civilization. Not summaries or fragments, but entire libraries of their literature, science, and culture. Everything the Council thought had been lost forever when the Zalari homeworld was eliminated. "This is impossible," Yunji said as she reviewed the data. "How could humans have obtained Zalari cultural records? Their planet was destroyed 200 years ago." The second device provided the answer. It contained surveillance recordings from the Zalari elimination, taken from hidden human observation posts. The recordings showed Council ships arriving at the Zalari homeworld, but they also showed something else: human ships arriving first. The humans had been there when the Council eliminated the Zalari. They had witnessed the destruction and somehow managed to evacuate survivors before the quantum torpedo hit. "They've been following us," Taeyang said quietly. "For centuries, they've been following our elimination fleets and saving who they could." More data devices revealed the same pattern. Before every Council elimination, human ships had arrived to evacuate survivors. Not all of them. The humans couldn't save entire populations without being detected, but they had saved enough to preserve each species' knowledge, culture, and genetic diversity. "The extinct species aren't extinct," Nari said, her voice filled with amazement and horror. "The humans have been rebuilding them." Yunji found detailed records of human conservation efforts, hidden colonies where eliminated species were being helped to recover and grow, genetic restoration projects that had brought entire races back from the edge of extinction, cultural preservation programs that had maintained the traditions and knowledge of civilizations the Council thought it had erased. "They turned us into the villains of our own story," Taeyang said. The final monument was the largest and most elaborate. It stood where Earth's core had been, a massive structure that somehow maintained its position despite the gravitational chaos around it. The structure was clearly designed to be explored, with docking ports and entry chambers. "Sir, I'm detecting artificial gravity and life support systems inside that structure," reported the navigation officer. "It's like they built a space station inside a monument." Taiyang ordered a boarding party to investigate. What they found inside defied all logic and physics. The monument was bigger inside than outside, using spatial manipulation technology that the Council's greatest scientists claimed was impossible. The interior was a vast library and museum dedicated to galactic history, the real history, not the version the Council taught its member species. Interactive displays showed the true timeline of galactic civilization, with detailed records of every Council elimination and the real reasons behind each decision. At the center of the museum stood a simple chair facing a large display screen. When Taiyang approached the chair, the screen activated automatically, showing the face of an elderly human woman. "Welcome, Council representatives," the woman said. "My name is Han Ji-young. If you're seeing this message, it means you've discovered what we've been doing." The woman's image gestured to the displays around the museum. "Everything you see here represents species and civilizations you thought you had destroyed. The Council has spent millennia eliminating any civilization that showed signs of independence or advanced development. You justified these eliminations by calling the victims aggressive or dangerous." Taeyang found himself unable to look away from the screen. The woman's voice was gentle, but her words cut like weapons. "We studied your pattern. Any species that develops faster than light travel independently gets eliminated. Any species that creates advanced artificial intelligence gets eliminated. Any species that begins exploring beyond their home system gets eliminated. You don't eliminate threats to galactic peace, you eliminate threats to galactic control." The displays around the museum came alive, showing evidence of Council deceptions. Member species were kept deliberately weak, their technology limited by Council regulations they thought were safety measures. Colonies were prevented from becoming self-sufficient. Research into certain fields was discouraged or forbidden entirely. "The Galactic Council isn't a peacekeeping organization," Ji-young continued. "It's a control system. You maintain your authority by ensuring no other species can challenge you." More evidence appeared on the screens. Council communications discussing how to prevent member species from developing independence. Plans to sabotage research projects that might lead to breakthrough technologies. Strategies for keeping civilizations dependent on Council support. "But we learned from the mistakes of those who came before us," the human said. "Instead of developing openly and hoping for acceptance, we developed in secret and prepared for rejection. Instead of trusting in Council mercy, we planned for Council elimination." The display showed a timeline of human preparation spanning centuries. While maintaining the appearance of a primitive civilization on Earth, they had been building a hidden network of colonies, research stations, and manufacturing centers across unexplored regions of space. "We knew this day would come," Ji-young said. "We knew you would eventually decide we were too dangerous to live. So we prepared to leave before you could destroy us." Taeyang realized this had all been planned. The humans had deliberately allowed themselves to be discovered at exactly the right time. They had timed their evacuation to coincide with the Council's decision to eliminate them, ensuring maximum impact for their revelation. "We're not running away," the human continued. "We're graduating. For too long, this galaxy has been limited by Council fear. Species with incredible potential have been destroyed because they threatened the status quo. That ends now." The final display activated, showing a star map unlike any Taeyang had ever seen. It revealed regions of space beyond the Council's knowledge, populated by thriving civilizations that were supposed to be extinct. The Zalari have built crystal cities that sing with the music of their homeworld. The Threks have created living ships that grow and evolve. The Novolans have learned to manipulate time itself. All the species you eliminated are alive, and they've spent their exile becoming everything you feared they could be. The woman's image stood up and walked closer to the camera. "We're giving them a choice you never offered. They can return to their homeworlds and reclaim what was taken from them, or they can join us in the unexplored regions and help build something better than what came before. 6 months after Earth's destruction, Jang Seo-hyun commanded the largest pursuit fleet in Council history. 200 ships, the best technology the galaxy could produce, and one mission: find the humans before they could cause more damage to Council authority. The hunt had not gone well. "Another empty system," reported Oh Ji-ho, her intelligence officer. He was studying sensor readings from what should have been a major human colony. "They evacuated this place less than a week ago. The orbital platforms are still warm." Seo-hyun looked at the tactical display showing their search pattern across 12 star systems. Every time they found evidence of human presence, it was just evidence. Empty stations, abandoned colonies, and signs of recent departure. The humans were always exactly one step ahead. "They know where we're going before we get there," she said. "How is that possible?" "We're using random search patterns generated by quantum computers. There's no way to predict our movements." Seo-hyun had been asking herself the same question for months. The pursuit fleet was using the Council's most advanced stealth technology and secure communications. Their search routes were decided by algorithms that even she didn't know until the moment they were implemented. Yet somehow, the humans always knew they were coming. "Ma'am, we're receiving another one of those transmissions," called the communications officer. The strange broadcasts had been appearing throughout Council space for weeks. They always came from untraceable sources and always contained information that made the Council look bad. Evidence of eliminated species, proof of technological suppression, details about Council control methods. "Put it on screen." This transmission was different from the others. Instead of showing Council crimes, it revealed something much more disturbing. The screen displayed real-time footage from inside Council headquarters, showing emergency meetings that were happening right now. "How are they getting footage from inside our most secure facilities?" Ji-ho asked. Seo-hyun didn't answer because she was beginning to understand something terrible. The humans weren't just ahead of them in space. They were ahead of them in information. They knew what the Council was planning before the Council finished planning it. "Sir, emergency message from Council Command," the communications officer announced. "Priority Alpha." The message was from Moon Jong-ho, the Council's supreme emergency commander. His face on the screen looked tired and angry. "All pursuit fleets are to return to Council space immediately. We have a more serious problem." "What kind of problem?" Seo-hyun asked. "The humans aren't just running, they're recruiting." The briefing that followed was worse than anything Seo-hyun had imagined. Across the galaxy, Council member species were receiving detailed information about human colonies and an open invitation to join them. The humans were offering unrestricted technology sharing, unlimited expansion rights, and freedom from Council oversight. 17 species had already withdrawn from the Council. 3 more were holding independence votes. The carefully maintained galactic order was falling apart. "But that's not the worst part," Jong-ho continued. "We've detected massive energy signatures from beyond the galactic rim. The humans aren't hiding in unexplored space. They're building something enormous out there." The tactical display showed sensor readings from the galaxy's edge. Huge energy sources were operating in the empty void between galaxies, generating power levels that dwarfed entire Council worlds. "What could they be building that requires that much energy?" Seo-hyun asked. "We don't know, but whatever it is, it's getting bigger every day." Ji-ho was analyzing the energy readings with growing concern. "Commander, these power signatures are off the scale. If the humans have learned to harness energy sources this powerful, they could have military capabilities we can't even imagine." Seo-hyun felt a chill of fear. The Council had eliminated species before they could become threats. But what if they had waited too long with the humans? What if humanity had already become something too powerful to eliminate? "Sir, we have another problem," called the sensor operator. "I'm detecting ships approaching our position. Unknown configuration." The main display showed 3 vessels approaching from different directions. They were clearly human-designed, but unlike any ships the Council had seen before, they moved without visible propulsion systems and generated no energy signatures that the sensors could detect. "Are they armed?" Seo-hyun asked. "I can't tell. Our sensors can't penetrate their hulls. It's like they're made from something that doesn't interact with normal matter. The lead human ship opened a communication channel. The face that appeared on screen was that of a young Korean woman with calm, intelligent eyes. Greetings, Council. Pursuit Fleet. I am Kwon Minji, representing the human collective. We've come to talk. Seo Hyun had been hunting humans for months. Now they were coming to her voluntarily. It felt like a trap, but she was curious enough to listen. Talk about what? About ending this pointless chase. You've been looking for us in all the wrong places, wasting resources that could be better, used helping your own people. The human was right, and Seo Hyun knew it. The pursuit fleet had accomplished nothing except proving that humans could disappear whenever they wanted to. But admitting failure wasn't an option. You're criminals who have destabilized galactic peace, she said. The Council demands your surrender. Minji smiled sadly. Peace built on the elimination of anyone who disagrees with you isn't really peace. It's just delayed war. The tactical display chimed with an alert. Ji-ho checked his readings and went, pale. Commander, the human ships are doing something to our sensors. I'm getting readings that don't make sense. What kind of readings? According to our instruments, those 3 ships have the combined firepower of our entire fleet. But that's impossible. They're smaller than our escort fighters. Seo Hyun looked at the human ships again. They looked harmless, almost elegant in their simplicity. But if Ji-ho's readings were correct, each one was a weapon that could destroy her entire command. We're not here to fight, Minji said, apparently reading Seo Hyun's thoughts. We're here to show you something. The space around the human ships began to shimmer and twist. Reality seemed to bend, and suddenly the empty space was filled with structures that hadn't been there moments before. Massive space stations materialized around them. Manufacturing platforms the size of moons became visible. Garden worlds appeared where sensors had shown empty vacuum. An entire hidden civilization revealed itself, existing in the same space as the debris field, but somehow separate from it. Dimensional pocket technology, Nari whispered. They've been hiding entire colonies in folded space. Not just colonies, Minji corrected. Refugees, safe homes for every species the Council tried to eliminate. The display screens throughout Seo Hyun's fleet began showing impossible sights. Zalari crystal cities floating in dimensional bubbles, Threx bioships growing in artificial ecosystems, Novolans working with time manipulation devices in laboratories that existed outside normal space-time. You didn't eliminate them, Minji said. You scattered them, and we've been gathering them back together ever since. Ji-ho was frantically checking his instruments. Commander, our weapon systems are offline, not damaged, just turned off. They're doing something to our ships. We're not disabling your weapons, Minji explained. We're just preventing them from working in this area of space. Think of it as a safety feature. Seo Hyun realized her fleet was completely helpless. The humans could destroy them all without effort, but instead they were having a conversation. It was either incredible mercy or incredible arrogance. What do you want? She asked. We want you to understand what's really happening. The galaxy is changing whether the Council likes it or not. The species you eliminated are coming home. The member species are learning they have options. The old order is ending. The display showed more evidence of galactic transformation. Former Council worlds were declaring independence. New alliances were forming between species that had never been allowed to interact directly. The rigid hierarchy that had maintained galactic peace for millennia was crumbling. You can be part of what comes next, Minji offered. Or you can spend your remaining time clinging to what used to be. The choice is yours. And if we choose to fight? Minji's expression grew sad. Then you'll discover why 44 eliminated species have chosen to work with us instead of against us. We learned from all of them. We combined their knowledge with ours. What we've become is more than the sum of our parts. The human ships began to fade from view, returning to whatever dimensional space they had emerged from. But before they disappeared completely, Minji delivered one final message. Tell the Council that the pursuit is over. You're not hunting us anymore. We're watching you. As the last human ship vanished, Seo Hyun's weapon systems came back online. Her fleet was alone again in the debris field, surrounded by monuments to the dead that weren't actually dead. "What do we report?" Jiho asked. Seo-hyun looked at the readings from their encounter. 3 small human ships had completely neutralized the most powerful fleet in Council history without firing a shot. They had revealed technology that made Council science look primitive. Most importantly, they had demonstrated that the balance of power in the galaxy had completely shifted. "We report that the humans are no longer running." 1 year after Earth's destruction, Moon Jong-ho sat in the Council's emergency command center watching his empire collapse in real time. The galaxy map on the main display showed the truth in stark red and green indicators. Red for worlds that had left the Council, green for worlds that remained loyal. There was much more red than green. 17 more systems declared independence overnight, reported his aide, Ryu Hana. That brings the total to 94 worlds that have withdrawn from Council authority. Jong-ho stared at the map without speaking. In 1 year, the humans had accomplished what no military force had ever managed. They had broken the Galactic Council's control over known space. Not through conquest or destruction, but through revelation and choice. "What's the status of the ultimate weapon?" he asked. Hana checked her datapad. "The quantum disruptor array is fully charged and ready for deployment. We can target the human energy signatures beyond the galactic rim and eliminate their entire civilization with 1 shot. The quantum disruptor was the Council's greatest secret. Unlike the quantum torpedoes that destroyed planets, the disruptor could eliminate entire species regardless of where they hid. It worked by disrupting the quantum field that connected all members of a species, causing instant death across any distance. How many humans will it kill? All of them. Every human in the galaxy, no matter where they're hiding. Jong-ho had been saving this weapon as a last resort. Using it would reveal the Council's true power to the remaining member species, but it would also solve the human problem permanently. "Prepare to fire." "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the Rim territories." "From the humans?" "No, sir. From the Zalari." Jong-ho felt his blood freeze. The Zalari had been eliminated 200 years ago. Their entire species had been destroyed. When their homeworld was hit with a quantum torpedo, there were no Zalari left alive. "Put it on screen." The display showed a being that was definitely Zalari. The crystalline skin, the multiple eyes, the elegant limbs that moved like flowing water. But this Zalari was different from the primitive creatures the Council had eliminated. This one wore clothing made from materials that seemed to shift between solid and energy. This one spoke with confidence that came from strength, not fear. "Greetings, Galactic Council," the Zalari said. "I am Crystal Singer An Yuna, speaking for the restored Zalari nation. We have returned to reclaim our homeworld." "Impossible," Jong-ho whispered. "Your species is extinct. Your records are incorrect. We have been in exile, but we are very much alive. Thanks to human intervention, we survived your elimination attempt and have spent the past 2 centuries growing stronger." The transmission expanded to show more than just one Zalari. Thousands of them stood in what appeared to be a massive space station. But their technology was unlike anything in Council databases. Their crystal bodies seemed to generate their own light, and their ships looked like they were grown rather than built. "We've come to inform you that Zalari space is no longer under Council jurisdiction. Any Council ships entering our territory will be asked to leave." Hana was frantically checking databases and historical records. "Sir, the Zalari homeworld was completely destroyed. There's no way they could reclaim it." Check current sensor readings of the Zalari system. The results made no sense. Long-range sensors showed a planet where the Zalari homeworld had been. Not a new planet, but the original world, somehow restored to exactly the condition it had been in before the quantum torpedo hit. "They brought their planet back," Jong-ho said in disbelief. "Sir, we're receiving similar transmissions from 37 other supposedly extinct species," Hana reported. "They're all reclaiming their homeworlds. And sir, the worlds are all there restored." The galaxy map updated to show impossible things. Dead worlds were coming back to life. Eliminated species were returning home. Star systems that had been empty for centuries, were suddenly populated again. How? Jong-ho asked. His answer came from an unexpected source. Im Hyunwoo appeared on the communications screen, but this wasn't the primitive human the council remembered. This person's eyes held intelligence that seemed almost unlimited, and when he spoke, reality seemed to listen. Time is more flexible than your scientists understand, Hyunwoo said. With sufficient energy and knowledge, past events can be adjusted. The worlds you destroyed never really stopped existing, they were just moved to a different when. Jong-ho felt his understanding of physics crumble. You're talking about time manipulation on a galactic scale. That's impossible. Many things are impossible until someone figures out how to do them. We had excellent teachers, 43 extinct civilizations, each with their own approach to temporal mechanics. When you combine their knowledge with human innovation, impossible becomes inevitable. The implications were staggering. If humans could manipulate time itself, they could undo any council action. Every elimination, every control measure, every